Hi Didi, happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
I know it's a bit of a shame for people who are single, but nonetheless, with a pinch of a salt, let's move into our show. I know that we have been
Yeah,
missing for quite some time now, 14, 15 days to be precise. But the good thing is that we are here again. And
yeah,
the
we are here again.
and the better thing is that India is doing really well in Chennai this time. I think Virat Kohli really got the pitch that he wanted. He won the toss for a change. Uh, I thought really Virat Kohli wanted to kind of have the kind of pitch that Chennai in the first test match gave us the third day onwards. So basically, it was a day three pitch on day one.
Yeah, it was an accident pitch which I think India wanted and they got it. So, and the result is expected. So, you mentioned Valentine's Day, and it was a Valentine's Day massacre for England.
Absolutely.
Uh,
Now, very quickly, I'll ask you two questions. One, of course, is Rohit Sharma. Why is Rohit Sharma such a brilliant batsman? And like when you don't really expect Rohit Sharma to do well, he will. That's one. And then number two, I also wanted you to sort of give us a short. What do you really think clicks for R. Ashwin? Because uh, he's not got the overspin of Nathan Lyon. He's not got the top spin like Harbhajan Singh. And a lot of people have critiqued him. And he has now 35 wicket hauls or 29 uh, in about 75 test matches or 76 test matches. And it is no mean feat. Then in every third test match, you're basically bagging, or more than that, basically, every 2.8 test matches, you're getting a 5 wicket haul. And so I think R. Ashwin is a genuine phenomena, once in a lifetime kind of a bowler. So first, your comments on Rohit and then R. Ashwin.
with Rohit Sharma, I am very biased. So, I am a
So go
huge
for it.
fan of Rohit
Yeah.
Sharma.
Of course, everybody is biased for people. So go with your biases, just go in. I don't
Yes, Sajjan,
mention
I'll bring in an element of bias because I am a huge fan of Rohit Sharma,
that's
and
Didi, which is why I
so
asked you about Rohit Sharma. It's okay. You can talk about your son later with a lot of bias. It's fine.
yeah. So no, I'm just because I maintain that a lot of people don't agree with me, but I still maintain that he's the best white ball player for India. I know
Hmm.
Virat Kohli's records and statistics are you can't touch them, but just because what Rohit Sharma can do with the
Hmm.
cricket ball with the bat in his hand,
Yeah,
if he wants to hit a six, he can hit a six without the minimum of effort
yeah,
at any ground, right? That is talent, and that is something that you're born with. So. There was never doubting his talent, and I think we also spoke not in this show and even otherwise that many a times if you see Rohit Sharma's dismissal, it is not the bowler getting him out or rather he himself getting out, right?
yeah, yeah.
Even if you I still remember the commentator in Brisbane saying why did he have to Gavaskar was saying I think why did he have to go for that shot when it was not needed, right? So many a times he gets out only by himself, but what he did in this test match, and it is evident that Rohit Sharma is playing a knock or has played knock in this test match. That the pitch was playing differently for him and it was playing differently for others. Right? Virat Kohli got a very good ball. Rahane played a very good knock. But Rohit Sharma, when he is at the crease, he can hit any bowler. eh, Of and I don't know today if you remember or if you had watched that segment where the commentator had said that there is no natural hooker and puller in cricket like him, and he
Yeah,
compared him to Ricky Ponting. Look at the way he pulls. He takes his back leg, he puts the weight on the back leg, and naturally he pulls and hooks. Right?
yeah.
He plays the ball so late. So and somehow there is a beauty even when he gets out. So he is talented, and he played an innings today that kind of justified what he is, right? He it is something that Rohit Sharma versus 21 men in this innings in terms of batting, right?
Yeah.
The way he was batting or the way he has been batting. So he can play the ball late. He can hit you. He was using the sweep a lot, a lot. He understood that he had to negate, Moeen Ali. He also negated uh, Jack Leach on the back foot.
Hmm.
If you saw some of the late cut foot, he played off Jack Leach. The good thing is that Rohit Sharma, again, at 161, when he got out, the bowler did not take his wicket. He gave his
Yeah,
wicket. He could have scored a double hundred, right? And I know I'm speaking with a lot of bias, but that is my, I am happy that Rohit Sharma is amongst the runs, and he finally could convert. And you see, when Rohit Sharma is scoring runs, big runs, India is in a good position. He's like Virendra Sehwag. When Sehwag scores runs, India wins because they come at a faster rate, they come in huge numbers. So Rohit Sharma finally doing justice to his talent, and I hope eventually he also starts getting the big scores away from home. He could have got a century in Australia if he would have not, got out. He just feels that sometimes I feel that Rohit Sharma is feeling lazy enough to stay in the wicket. He'll do something. He wants to go home. He'll get out.
yeah,
So that is Rohit Sharma. And second, with respect to Ashwin, the way Ashwin bowled in Australia, right? We've discussed that time and again. I think uh, he 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 comes into India with so much confidence behind his back that he knows what he can do, right? And when you have confidence as a bowler, you have wickets in alien conditions, you are bowling in home conditions in your own turf, and you have a lot of tricks in your bag. And the most important thing is, if you see Ben Stokes' wicket, it was a beautiful classical off spinners wicket. Even Ben, yeah, I think BBC mentioned that even Brian Lara would have got out in that ball, right? So he is not only taking the wickets. One thing was that in between there was a phase where he was not even doing. He was dropped from the limited overside, and I always maintained that he should be in the limited overside as well. He was experimental a lot with his variations, which meant that he was losing his top delivery as an off spinner. The classical off spinners one, which Graham Swan used to bowl. Ashwin had a very nice one, but somehow he lost it. He also kind of adjusted his run up a little bit. He was bowling from a little behind the crease sometimes. But now you see a man who is playing his variety because he knows he can. His baseline is there. I'm giving you an example again. It's Australian Open season, and tennis is my favorite sport. So I'll bring in the example of tennis. You say, say any of those players when they're playing with confidence, the commentators keep on saying that they're in the practice zone. That is when they will hit a drop shot. That is when they will hit a twinner. Now these things you hit when you know that your other things are taken care of. Ashwin's other things are taken care of while he's bowling. He's not leaking runs. He's creating pressure from his end, and more importantly, people are playing him with respect, and that is also one of the reasons why he's able to tie things up. And plus, with Akshar Patel today bowling extremely tight from the other end, it allowed Ashwin the freedom to attack more,
yeah.
right? So, and I think if you ask me, Ashwin has done enough to perhaps credit a discussion in the India all-time Test 11 along with Kumble.
Yeah. And I think generally Ashwin is critiqued for only being a home track bully of sorts. But if you really ask me, I think the kind of record that Ashwin has at home, it is pretty much similar to the record that a Jimmy Anderson has at home, right? And in the first half of
Or
his
even a Mutaya Muralidharan
yeah,
has at home.
yeah. So
So
I
that's
think
okay.
Jimmy Anderson in the first half of his career, obviously, he was pretty one-dimensional, and like outside England, it was quite difficult for him to pick up wickets. And I think later he grew his game. Quite similarly, Ashwin also took a little bit of a time to figure out his game, and he stuck to his guns. And then now he's not your very quintessential classical off spinner with a side-on action. He's a very open-chested kind of a bowler, and I think he does some things even on this kind of a pitch. I just saw that he was able to control the amount of spin that he could generate. Generally, on a rank turner, you're not able to control spin. And I think if a bowler is able to do that, you become really lethal. And I think the great Shane Warne had this magnificent ability to control the degree of spin from the same spot, bringing in then later his sliders and the straighter ones to get LBW decisions in his favor. So I think that is something that Ashwin does really well. Today I saw him also bowl a couple of sliders, straighter ones, from the off stump, just outside the off stump line. He didn't get a wicket of it. He was able to beat the batsman, but very similar deliveries that got Steve Smith out in Australia when he edged to the slip. And also in one of the innings, he got Labuschagne to edge to the slip on a slider. And which really tells me is that a lot of people said that it was a natural variation. I don't really think it was. I think this is something that R. Ashwin has developed. And so I think, yeah, kudos to him. For me also, I think a great, great bowler for India. And if you're really able to pick up 400 wickets now, almost, he's there now, almost. This series, I'm sure he will get to 400 wickets in about 76 test matches. Then you've got to be one of the greatest in the games, no doubt about it.
Yeah, we talk about superlatives and all of those things, but you look at his impact per test match, it is
Yeah,
huge.
yeah,
You needed, and with Jadeja in, India is unplayable at home. Of course,
yeah,
with all due respect to the other spinners, uh, India's top combination at home is Jadeja and Ashwin, and I think not even at home. Now Jadeja and Ashwin are our top two, combinations of slow bowling anywhere.
yeah,
So Ravichandran Ashwin is a, and I think more importantly, he's a thinking bowler. If you see some of the, the ways he traps batsmen,
yeah,
he thinks through what he needs to do. He knows he will not just get a wicket by bowling a good ball. He will create that trap. A chess
yeah,
player's mind is what I will say. He'll create that mind. He'll think three steps ahead. Uh, he knows when to bowl the wrong one. He knows when to bowl the leg spinner's action.
yeah,
He'll bring in all those variations at a time when people are not expecting them.
yeah,
So that is the other, because the point is, if you know that you're bowling your top delivery, so you will also keep the batsman guessing that when he'll bowl the variation, right? But if you always keep on bowling the variations, then somehow you become predictable.
yeah. And I think for a while, briefly, R. Ashwin around the 2015, 16, 17 phase, he was kind of becoming that, very video game kind of a bowler where all the six deliveries he would try to bowl differently, thinking that he's going to fox the batsman. He would bowl those stop deliveries as well, where he would stop in his run up and then ultimately lose his own momentum. Anyway, I think currently Ashwin is on top of his game, and it's good news for India. Uh, I just saw David Miller play one of the best counter-attacking come from behind innings for South Africa in T20. He scored a not out 85 or 45 balls, and South Africa at one stage were around 60 for 7 or something like that. Now South Africa have about 160 plus, and Pakistan are going to chase in 20 overs. So that's an interesting bit which I just witnessed. But
Yeah, 164 for 8, I think they scored, right?
yeah,
164 for 8. I was
just a
following
quick
it.
one. Yeah, I don't really know if you were able to see the match. I was not able to see the match.
No, I haven't seen the
And
match yet.
but the West Indies, they've been able, they've put in a
Yeah.
young team, and they've defeated Bangladesh twice in two test matches, and the last one, I think that concluded today, was a thriller as well. Windies
Yeah,
winning by
17 runs, right? Yeah,
17
I
runs.
followed the score. Rakim Cornwall was, and I
Yeah,
will tell you something that uh, growing up as a kid, one of my favorite moments in, not moment as such, one of my favorite images in cricket was Curtly Ambrose high fiving with David Williams. Williams was a short guy, 5 feet 5 inches, and Ambrose was 6 feet. And Ambrose used to take wickets, and it was like, it was, moments that
nice
we
thing.
remember from our childhood, right?
Just like the chest bumps that Mahesh Bhupati and Leander Pace would do.
And today, after Rakim Cornwall got out, and people were, it's a great character, right, Cornwall. So,
Yeah,
there were people climbing on him, and the joy of, a young team, people who wanted to play and win. Winning a test match in Asia is not easy. Bangladesh is a
yeah,
very, very good, team at home,
yeah.
and to win two matches where I think they also didn't expect to win. To be honest, in
Absolutely.
India, I haven't seen it. I've just seen a few of the highlights. Last Test match was, of course, for the obvious reason, an unbelievable innings of 210, Kyle Myers. But yeah, great news for West Indian cricket.
Yeah, so I think some really great matches are happening in the Test arena, which is good for Test cricket. Ultimately, I think Test cricket. See, I know that it takes a little bit of a time, but eventually it does give you the right quality of cricket that you would want to see. Some of the
Yeah,
stuff.
Test
So,
cricket
for
is like a
example,
five set tennis match, right?
yeah,
You
yeah.
just have to grind it out, right?
I mean, see, it just takes, for instance, a lot of people will see, but James Anderson came into play in the first Test match right on the last day, and I think Shubman Gill and Kohli were playing really well when he skittled out both Gill as well as Rahane in the same over with beautiful big booming in swingers. And it's not easy for a 38-year-old fast bowler to be able to do that on benign and the so-called
That is skill, right? That is
yeah,
skill for
it's
you,
got nothing for fast bowlers
which
to
defies age.
yes. So, and I think that's the kind of stuff, that's the kind of cricket that fans generally want to see. And these are the moments that people remember and not really the results, actually. On that note, Nidhi, last 5 minutes, I just give it to you. I have not been following Australian Open, but very quickly, if you can just round up the tournament so that our viewers can benefit from it, and what do you think of the tournament?
So I did a preview with one of my friends, and there I had picked Djokovic winning from the men's side. I will still stick to it. I know that Djokovic has an injured abdominal part. Even with an injured abdominal part, he beat Raonic today. And I was telling one of my friends that uh, that Raonic doesn't have anything that can hurt a fit Djokovic. He somehow took one set out of him. Raonic is 12-0 versus Djokovic. So I'm still going with Djokovic. But the interesting part in the men's draw is that team got, I don't know what team was playing today. He lost in straight sets to Dimitrov. He was completely off. I don't know, the match against Kyrgios perhaps took a lot out of him. So that opens up that half of the draw
Yeah.
because it is Djokovic who will play Zverev, and Thiem lost to Dimitrov, and Dimitrov will play Felix Auger-Aliassime, the 20th seed superstar from Canada, also lost. So that half opens up, and I think Dimitrov should prevail in that matchup.
So you're saying
And
that
Djokovic versus
he's going to beat Nadal to his way
I'll come to the other
final.
half. So
Mhm.
I'll come to the other half in a moment. But uh, what is happening, because I'm not sure how much Djokovic's injury is hampering him. Because today I saw the match, but with Djokovic you never know, right? And he's so great a player that he can win a tournament injured also. That is his greatness. But again, if Thiem was there, I would have perhaps with Djokovic not 100%, I would perhaps have had stuck to perhaps Thiem edging over Djokovic. But I think he will manage to beat Zverev, and if he manages to beat Zverev, he manages to beat Dimitrov as well. I'm picking Dimitrov as the winner in the
And
other quarterfinal.
is Medvedev playing or has he already?
Yes. I'm going to the other half because the
Yeah.
fourth round matches for the bottom half of the draw in the men's side is tomorrow,
Okay.
and you have the only American remaining in the draw, McDonald, playing against Medvedev. Medvedev had a two-set horror in his last match, but I expect Medvedev to win that match. The player to watch out for in that half is actually Andrei Rublev, who's been playing some brilliant tennis. Rublev has a very big serve, has solid ground strokes both on the backhand and the forehand side. You should see
And
his forehand; it's one of the best in the
is
mix.
he a double-handed backhand player or single-handed?
Yes. He is also a double-handed backhand player.
Double-hander. Okay.
So I am expecting an all-Russian. I had predicted an all-Russian quarterfinal. I'm going with Rublev versus Medvedev. The interesting part is that Rublev's opponent is a guy called Casper Ruud. Casper Ruud is a Norwegian. He is the second Norwegian to reach the fourth round of a Grand Slam. The other Norwegian before him was his father, Christian Ruud.
That's an
So,
interesting piece of
so that's
trivia.
so, that, so that's an interesting one. The
Yeah.
match to look out for is basically Nadal versus Fognini. Both of them have a history behind themselves. Both of them don't like each other. Fognini beat Nadal
Fognini
from
is
two
that
sets to
guy
lockdown.
who wears a headband and he is a mustache and a highly temperamental player, right? That
Yes, absolutely.
guy from Italy.
Yes, and he
Yeah,
married Flavia Pennetta.
yeah, yeah.
So Fognini, of course, has beaten Nadal on clay, on hard court. He's the only one to beat Nadal from 2 sets to love down. But I'm not. I don't think he will be able to. The good thing is that Nadal is not injured. There was doubts behind his participation because he did not take part in the ATP Cup. He rested his injured back. So I am expecting. I know Fognini can trouble Nadal, but I don't see him taking
So,
beyond the set.
so did he net
And
what is
then
going to happen?
finally,
Huh. Go
the
ahead, go ahead.
other big match is Tsitsipas versus Berrettini. Both
Yeah.
very good players. I'm expecting Tsitsipas to win that. So it's basically Tsitsipas versus Nadal and Rublev versus Medvedev. Today, tennis.com ran an article where they're saying that with just 5 matches to go, no one is talking about Nadal to win, to create history and go past Federer and reach 21 even before the French Open. Actually, I think Nadal has a chance, but if Djokovic reaches from the other half of the draw,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think, because Djokovic on hard courts is just a different player. The only player who can trouble him and beat him is Federer if the courts are fast, because Federer can take time away from him on both flanks. And of course, Federer, if mentally doesn't, play the big points badly,
No,
because
I
Federer
think
and Djokovic is always a tough match.
you make the rackets a bit lighter, and you make the courts a bit faster, and nobody will be able to beat Federer ever. That's what I feel.
That's a different discussion altogether. But you
Yeah,
you get to play what you're playing with.
yeah.
So let's not bring Federer into the equation. But I think Nadal stands a very good chance to go to the. Of course, I did
Mm.
not initially put Nadal in the mix for the final, because I think that Medvedev should be able to overcome him. But going by present form in the tournament, Nadal seems to be the most solid amongst the players remaining.
So did he
And the thing
give me
with
your semi-finalists? Semi-final one,
my
semi-final.
semi-finalists, my semi-finalists would be Dimitrov versus Novak Djokovic
Mm-hmm.
from the top half of the draw, and Medvedev versus Nadal
Okay.
is my, and I'm
So
going with a Nadal Djokovic
Nadal
final.
versus
Assuming
Djokovic in the final, and then assuming that
we'll talk about that next Saturday. Assuming
okay.
because Sunday is the final,
Great.
we'll
So
talk about it.
basically, my disappointment carries on, where I'll not be able to see a new guy as a Grand Slam
I
champion
was
in the
hoping
Euro.
that, but I had predicted before the tournament, I had gone with one of the big three, as in Novak to win. I will still
Yeah.
stick with that. On the women's side, the big match is happening. Simona Halep is playing Serena Williams, in the quarterfinals. I am expecting us, anyone can win that match. Halep has better movement, but Serena is Serena. No one hits the ball harder than
Yeah,
Serena
that's true.
does. No
That's
one
true.
is more temperamental. No one is more. Uh, uh, what do you call more? There is no strong player mentally in the game of tennis as Serena Williams. In the history of tennis, men's or women's, there has been not a single player other than Serena Williams who needs a ranking beside his or her name to win a Grand Slam. Serena Williams can be ranked 100 and still win a slam because she doesn't care about anybody. She can beat anybody on any surface at any time. Thus, when till Serena Williams is there, you can't say anything. However, she is faced with a very, very tough task. She has to beat she has to beat Simona Halep, and I'm assuming Osaka will prevail in her quarterfinal. So she has to beat Halep, Osaka, and possibly Barty from the other half to win. It's a very, very tough draw for her. I had initially gone with Halep as my winner.
Are you
I will,
changing it?
you know, I am not changing it, but I'm feeling with the way Osaka, prevailed against Muguruza today. She was saving match points. Osaka is a big match temperamental player, a big match player like Serena. It's difficult to choose in the women's game, but I will perhaps still stay with Halep, but Barty has a very, very good chance of
So did he
because she has to play
give me
only
your
one of the three.
finalists just for our viewers? Just simplify it a bit for them and give me your finalist from the women's section.
I'm going with Barty versus Osaka.
Okay, and then give me a winner.
Difficult to choose. Possibly Barty, given that she's fresh. She has a very. I like the way she has a. I had gone with Halep, to be honest, but I'm giving the way the tournament is progressing. I, of course, assuming Barty prevails from the other half of the draw. Uh, I will go with Barty, but Osaka still she's there,
Great.
and of course Serena is still there. But
Only time will now tell the real what will happen to your predictions. But as always, lovely
it
talking
can
to
be
you.
it can go horribly wrong.
That's
But
all right.
I will
If we could really see the future,
still
we
go with
would be
Barty
different
and
people. But as always, Didi, lovely talking to you and lovely getting your views on the game of tennis. I know that how passionate you are for the sports and for this game. And I am looking forward to Wimbledon, and I hope that the great Federer will be back on the greens of Wimbledon and bagging another one
let's hope
before Nadal
the
bags the
situation there is good enough.
French Open. And I desperately hoping that Nadal doesn't win this, so that before that Federer can add +1 to his overall Coutinho.
I don't think your wishes will get fulfilled, because I don't, to be honest, the way Nadal is playing on hard courts, I don't think anyone can touch him on clay and sort of Guinness. So let's
Uh,
let's not go. Let's
but
not.
but let's see there. And till then, let's see you then next week, and hopefully then
Before we kind of close this,
yeah.
we kind of close this, what is your prediction? I'm assuming that, what is your prediction for the remainder of the test match, and
See,
how things should pan out?
I think the writing is on the wall. India is going to play with fast turning tracks now, and I hope that the curators are going to serve such pitches. Like I said, that if I were an Indian curator, I would serve a very fast spinning bouncy track because on a low, slow spinning track, the sweep players all of a sudden they become a different master. I told you this that Sri Lanka had served low and slow pitches, which suited actually the game of England batters. So India should
Yeah,
put in bouncy and fastish spinning tracks, pitches which have a little bit of a bounce, and see what Akshar Patel did to Joe Root today. And after the first test match debacle, I'm sure that the coach and the captain would have spoken to the curators and we will be served the pitches that suit us.
I
And I think
think,
it's
yeah, yeah.
absolutely fair.
That's okay, man.
When we
You're
go
playing in
to
your home conditions.
yeah, yeah,
Play
yeah.
to your strengths.
When we go to England, when we are playing in Baston and in Lords, and I don't see a pitch. I just see a patch on the green ground, which
Yeah,
just
yeah. It is difficult to make out a difference between a pitch and the ground. So it's okay.
absolutely. So I think it's
You know.
absolutely fair. And if there is a distinction based on certain skill sets that needs to be called out, I think
Yeah,
India has called it out quite
yeah,
well.
absolutely. And the point is, India has performed well overseas, first of all. And second thing is that if it was always said that India needs to go abroad and win, the other team should also come here and try to win in spinning
Absolutely,
conditions.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So
So
my
make
prediction
it
is
even more
3-1.
tougher. I would.
My prediction is 3-1. Pink ball test match in Ahmedabad, I don't really think is going to swing. And they should make a dust ball in Ahmedabad. It's as simple as that. You play with the pink, you play under lights, it doesn't matter. Just make a dust
So
ball.
you are assuming you are not expecting any
No, no,
fourth innings miracle from England in this test
don't,
match.
no, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. Absolutely not. They just don't have the skills. See, Joe Root is a great batsman. He's the only one who can play spin well. Stokes can play aggressively, but on turning track, I don't really give Stokes a chance. Stokes is more like an Ajinkya Rahane kind of a player. He wants fast ball, he wants bouncy balls. So, and with Ashwin will be more than a handful. Siraj also bowls quite well with the old ball.
Ishan Sharma was bowling beautifully, right?
Ishant Sharma bowled beautifully. He took about 18 balls, 15 balls to take a wicket. I think with similar pitches, I'm assuming that and I'm hoping that India makes similar pitches and we should win 3-1. That's
Let's
my
see.
prediction.
Let's hope. The point is, let's hope we reach the World Test Championship.
No, yeah,
So with
absolutely.
whatever.
And we should preserve our fast bowlers and then we should win the World Test Championship.
We'll see. We'll go there step by step. But for now, thanks a lot. It's always a pleasure.
Lovely, Didi. See you next week. Bye bye.
Thank you.